Oh, sure. There was a time when the name James Bond meant something eternal, something unshakably British, debonair, dangerous, and deeply embedded in cinematic and gaming culture. The silhouette with a gun, the tuxedo in the shadows, the whispered name, Bond, James Bond. It all evoked a world of danger, seduction, and unforgettable style. But in 2025, when IO Interactive finally revealed 007 First Light, the first Bond console game since 2012's 007 Legends, fans were hit with a jolt. This wasn't your father's James Bond. This was a reboot, a reimagination, and to some, a controversial retelling of a legend. At the heart of the storm, a new Bond. Young, untested, unshaped by the world. Patrick Gibson, yes, the same rising star from Dexter Original Sin, was suddenly James Bond. No tuxedo, no Aston Martin. Just raw potential and a scarred cheek, lifted straight from Ian Fleming's original literary creation. The devs didn't just update Bond, they rewrote his DNA. And with that, 60 years of layered, iconic lore was quietly swept aside. For some fans, it felt like betrayal. For others, rebirth. But make no mistake, IO Interactive isn't chasing nostalgia. They're rewriting the blueprint. CEO Hakana Brag made it clear, this isn't just about guns and explosions. This is Bond before the 00. A spy in the making. A man discovering the weight of secrets and the price of loyalty. It's less GoldenEye 007 trigger-happy arcade, more Casino Royale psychological thriller. Bond walks, talks, and solves problems, not just with finesse, but with finesse. Social stealth, conversations, manipulation, this Bond is part sleuth, part savant, and wholly human. The storytelling ambitions are sky high. Set in a freshly imagined MI6, both classic and new. M, now played by a second-ever female actor in the role, is sharp-tongued, driven, and already at odds with Bond's insubordination. Their dynamic crackles, mentor versus wild card. Then there's John Greenway, an original creation played by The Walking Dead's Lenny James. His skepticism of Bond's entry into MI6 is more than bureaucratic. It's personal. He sees the cracks in Bond before anyone else, and yet fate binds them together. And let's not forget Moneypenny. Tradition is honored as she greets Bond at HQ, but she's no desk-bound secretary anymore. Like in the Craig era, she's competent, resourceful, and sharp enough to match wits with Bond. The flirtation is there naturally, but so is the boundary. IO hints that this will be a professional Bond, tinged with unspoken tension, just as it should be. The return of Q was inevitable and welcome. Gadgets, in all their absurdity and charm, are alive and well. Rocket-powered bikes to laser watches. 007 First Light understands that spy fiction thrives on these tools of espionage. The legacy of Desmond Llewellyn lives on through innovation. This isn't just flair. It's functionality reimagined for a new generation. But where things get really spicy? Agent 009, the dark mirror, the traitor within. IO throws Bond into a psychological gauntlet with 009, a mysterious rival who may be the key to Bond's own rise or his undoing. Like Alec Trevelyan in GoldenEye or Silva in Skyfall. This antagonist is personal because they represent what Bond could become or what he must destroy. And while the game doesn't tie itself to any previous film continuity, it doesn't forget where it came from. The scar, The Aston Martin glimpsed in teaser art. The return of Mads Mikkelsen as Le Chiffre? Yes! The Casino Royale villain returns for a Hitman crossover mission. IO isn't just throwing away the past, they're threading it through a new narrative tapestry. Yet, not everyone is on board. Critics argue this young Bond lacks gravitas. That replacing decades of mythology with a rebooted origin cheapens what made Bond legendary. Where's the charm of Brosnan, the grit of Craig, the suave brutality of Connery? But to those naysayers, IO poses a question. What if Bond was never meant to be static? What if evolution was the only way forward? Gamers and Bond purists alike are split. Social media debates rage. YouTubers dissect every frame of the trailer. Fans demand to know if this Bond will earn his 00 in blood, or if the game is more style than substance. But the buzz? Unstoppable. Priorities spike, theories multiply, and 2026 can't come soon enough. From an updated engine capable of rendering breathtaking action set pieces to the stealth mechanics evolved from IO's Hitman world of Assassination, 007 First Light is more than a game. It's a gamble. A spy thriller that dares to dive into the emotional complexity of a character too often reduced to cool quips and fast cars. Yes, it erases lore. Yes, it breaks tradition. But it also offers something games and films rarely do. A true origin story. A chance to walk beside James Bond not as an icon, but as a man learning how to carry the burden of that name. To stumble, to bleed, to question who he is before becoming who we all know. So here we are, Bond Reborn. The scarred cheek, the haunted eyes, the smirk that hides doubt. IO Interactive isn't just giving us a game, they're giving us a legend, rewritten from page 1. Love it or hate it, 007 First Light is the kind of bold reinvention that doesn't ask permission. It just pulls the trigger. And somewhere, in the shadows of MI6, a young spy gets his first taste of the light. First blood, first mission, first legend. James Bond will return.